we have. But here we go, kicking things off. It's going to be Kim Hyojin and Jungdex going along with his Korean ID, which has Kitty Punch on it, so giving a little bit of a mime there. But we've got Hyojin versus Jungdex, and Hyojin says right away, listen, this is two Cookie Run YouTubers. I can't be the one to lose. There's a little bit of honor involved here.
Kim Hyojin on top, Jungdex on bottom, and we are kicking off map number 1 here in the Ocean Preliminaries. Let's get going on Beneath the Lilies.
Yeah, just beginning off mostly pretty stable early on. We do see some runners miss out on some of those early Lotus Gems, but today it does seem like it's not going to be too much of an issue. The first thing we're going to be wanting to look out for, not only the Lotus Gems, but as we go through the next phase with the Spinach Cookie, can you get all the destruction, especially on those cogwheels?
Yeah, destruction points coming in right there. Very close scores right now, only a 20,000 point difference between these two as they're navigating the early game very well. Some more destruction points coming in.
Okay, it's been nice and smooth. No big mistakes from either runner yet today to kick things off.
Yeah, getting all those pink bears, even these jumps between the frogs, nice and easy on both sides. And this is one of the tricky parts about this one. You know, we're looking at differences of 1 or 2 jellies right here in the early game. Jungdex on top with about 55,000 points in total, but
yeah, Jungdex has been always consistently getting that 1 or 2 extra jelly though, right? So that's why we consistently see that going from like 10 to 20k to 50k. Both of them still getting that rainbow bear jelly as well. And here we go. Do you get oh, they're actually both going to go the safer route, not maximizing the entire spikes, but that will keep Jungdex in the lead.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw last week some players when they go down for those spikes at the end, they take a little bit of damage. They can absolutely end your run. So both these players erring on the side of caution here, not taking the risk and collecting every single Lotus Gem thus far. I don't believe one has been missed yet.
Yeah, I don't think so, but this does start to put a little bit of pressure on Kim Hyojin, right? If neither of you are making big mistakes, I mean, it doesn't matter how close you are, but if you're losing, you're losing. You got to find a way to catch up.
Yeah, I think right now you just try and get every single jelly and hope for the best. If we had a game close out with a 60,000 point difference, it would be an absolute madhouse.
Yeah, that would be an absolute legendary match. Here we go.
Okay.
This is an opportunity for Kim Hyojin. Can he make sure that he gets every single one as they go across the pedals? Jungdex not missing one yet either, though. Jungdex trying to make sure that he's keeping the lead, and both of them will continue on, and Jungdex keeps his lead at approximately 200,000.
Yeah, it increased by 100,000 points because Kim Hyojin took the safer route and actually went for 1 skip right there. It's much easier to be able to lock down every single jump and collect, what, 99% of the Lotus Gems, only missing 1. But Jungdex being a bit more risky there. Now, okay, here these jumps come in. Jungdex did mix a couple of those on the bottom, and here's the first drop on the column.
Yeah, and it's clean for both, which means once again, Jungdex keeps his lead. Again, 1 or 2 of those, they both land pretty much at the exact same spot here on the relay. So Jungdex still sitting comfy.
That lead is compounding. It's still a very small one. All right, size up coming in. Drop on both columns. Both players able to nail that perfectly. I think maybe 1 or 2 Lotus Gems were missed by Jungdex.
Yeah, so that narrows it down a little bit, right? You're looking at that score. It's at 200. Now it goes back up to 500 as Kim Hyojin misses 1 extra one. So it's really, I think it's going to come down at the very end maybe to see if they can both secure all the way the complete row of Lotus Gems.
Yeah, especially because the distance is basically the exact same on both these players. This is one of the closest matches that we've had in the entire preliminaries thus far.
Yeah, it has been quite close, but Jungdex now starting to shoot forward on that transformation, maximizing the destruction and the Lotus Gems that he's able to get. And I think that should be able to secure him most of the lead, unless we see a crucial mistake. I think that transformation into phase 3 earlier might have been the difference maker.
Yeah, he's all the way up to 2 million points right now, and he just needs to defend his lead. There isn't much map left here for Kim Hyojin to try and close it out. He has to get every single jelly, every single Lotus Gem, but no! He misses 2 more Chobra!
Yeah, and Jungdex just making sure to utilize that phase 2 transformation, using the drop and then the rise back up in the transformation to collect all of them. He cleans up the final row as well, and that's going to give Jungdex a 5 million point lead and a celebration as he gets his first win here in the quarterfinals.
The second match here in the Group A quarterfinals of the Ocean Regionals is about to kick off. Hudolnim going up against Gojek Van Ness here on stage. Gojek says, let's have fun and let's step it up to a next level. We are going back to the Lotus Gems here on Beneath the Lilies for match number 2.
And just nice and clean starts here. I don't expect either of them to missing any of these early Lotus Gem jellies. That would be a little bit tragic almost with the expectations held for both of these runners.
Yeah, and I wonder whether either of them is going to go and try and dip down for that extra destruction point here at the end of this earlier stage. So far, players have been a little bit more safe on the spikes, and when they haven't been, occasionally that greed does get punished.
I mean, 800-point difference so far. Now a little bit of chain back and forth and swinging.
Like one jelly.
Yeah, this is so insane that it's coming down to this close of a difference. Okay, that's one Lotus Gem Jelly missed here for Gojek, though.
Yeah, one gets missed there by Gojek, and so now he's down 300,000 points to try and compensate with some extra destruction points coming here in just a moment.
Now let's find out. Still staying calm, though. We don't see any change on the camera for either of these. Hudol, or maybe we'll call him HCD here at the top, really focused in, zoned in on his phone right now.
Oh yeah, he's playing this so well. Really clean start for him,
okay.
Actually getting a nice lead here in the early stages.
Yeah, both of them going for that extra destruction, but Hudol actually just maximizing the Lotus Gem so far as well, keeps him in a hefty lead. So Gojek's gonna have to do a little bit of extra work coming into this next area.
Well, usually here on this map, the winner is often decided when we switch to the second cookie, when the Ion cookie comes in, but oh man, another Lotus Gem gets missed here by Vanessa.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
really want to close the distance before you get to that second stage to give you a better chance, right?
Exactly. It's just kind of adding on one Lotus Gem Jelly at each of these sections, and that starts to really widen the gap. Gojek still trying to stay focused, but I think it might be getting to him, as you can see the point difference there. Let's see if he can maximize all the Lotus Gem Jellies here across the petals. Both of them looking good. Hudol misses one earlier. Gojek still looking to maximize, and he completes the run, but it's still going to be the same point difference.
And this is another one right there on the column drop down.
No.
It just feels like this chip damage coming in from Hudol. He's getting so much done by just being consistent. He has been completely on point thus far, and no, you head into the second stage with this many points as a buffer. As Gojek misses another Lotus Gem Jelly, you're going to be feeling so good.
Yeah, let's see if you can get all the columns, though. Of course, you want to maximize that. Both of them doing it, which means that Hudol will continue to keep the lead. Both of them getting that extra jump on the relay as well, so no big difference just yet.
Yeah, the distance basically equivalent on both these sides. I think it's really going to come down to the navigation here as we switch to the Ion Cookie. All right, size up, drop down coming in. Both players able to clear every single one of those 4 columns.
Yeah, and you can see the point difference just remaining steadily at 3 million. Both of them just skipping that one extra Lotus Gem Jelly, and that continues to give the edge. Another extra Lotus Gem miss from Gojek. So many eyes looking to Gojek, as a lot of people have been looking up to Gojek this entire time in Cookie Run Oven Break, and so far it's been a little bit difficult to answer that call here on stage.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't even think it's that Gojek is playing poorly. I think Hudol is just completely locked in right now. A 5 million point lead. I've had my eyes glued on the screen. It feels like he's barely missing anything, Chopra.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what we've talked about. When it's a bit of a quote-unquote simpler map and a simpler course, it really just comes down to how little of a mistake are you making. It's not that Gojek's had any giant blunders, right? You know, no collisions or anything like that, but it's just, you know, the Lotus Gem Jellies, they keep adding up.
I mean, there's only maybe 40 million points left on this map, and how are you as Gojek Vanessa going to be able to close the distance on this one?
And just a couple extra jumps at the end. Man. He will maximize whatever he can, but so does Hudol, and he will be sitting healthy with 3 extra million points to take the win in their first matchup.
That was a really impressive play coming out from Hudol here in his first match of the day, taking down the fan favorite Vanessa in honestly convincing fashion.
Jungdex sitting at a best score of 737 million. He got very close to it actually earlier on in the earlier run with 736.8. So might be able to beat his best score here on stage if he goes for another go here against Gojek. Gojek warming up his hands, making sure that he's able to just secure, you know, a couple of those extra Lotus Gem Jellies.
All right, and we run it back one more time here on Beneath the Lilies for Group A, match number 3, Gojek Vanessa on top, Jungdex on bottom. And for me, Chopra, my eyes are going to be here on this early stage. How solid is Gojek Vanessa going to be in terms of collecting all these Lotus Gem Jellies and also getting all those destruction points?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to fall behind. It started to really, you know, add up earlier on in that previous run, so Gojek going to try to stay focused for this entire run.
Yeah, thus far it's been a very nice early start here for Gojek. No Lotus Gems missed just yet, and if he continues on this tread, I'm going to be feeling a lot more confident in his odds.
Yeah, so far just keeping, you know, 1 or 2 jellies ahead for the time being. We'll see if Jungdex maybe tries to greet a couple phases here, and both of them securing all of those Lotus Gems, and in the next phase as well.
Yeah, double jump securing those gems there on top as neither player's missed a single one yet. So it's been a 90,000 point difference between the two of them, that mostly coming down to just these basic jellies.
Yep, securing the Rainbow Bear Jelly, now soon coming up, of course, for that destruction as we transform into the Spinach Cookie.
Ooh.
And okay, Gojek going for the extra destruction as well. That gives him a hefty lead.
Yeah, he got one more spike, and that's going to be a lot of points on the board now, all the way up to 1.2 million. It's a greedier play, and man, risking it all right here with basically your tournament life on the line here. Has Gojek versus the favorite in this group who's already won one match.
Yeah, Gojek now realizing that he needed to go for that extra greed a little bit. Looking a lot calmer too, I gotta say, right? Not making the same mistakes that he did in the earlier run, securing every single one of these Lotus Gem Jellies. Now that puts some pressure on Jungdex here.
Yeah, this is the Gojek that we expected to see today. He has been rock solid, just brushing off that earlier match, locking in here for match number 2.
Yeah, just looking absolutely fine. And let's see if both of them continue on. One Lotus Gem Jelly miss from Jungdex. Looks like he almost slipped up, but he regains. He's going to try to continue on, not missing any more.
Wow.
But that still gives a little bit of an edge for Gojek.
Yeah, Gojek, he went for the greedy line again, and he didn't miss a single one on those lily pads. It's just an extra 100K points, but you can see that Gojek is playing for everything right now. 1.1 million point lead. First drop coming in here. These are the small columns. Okay, 2 Lotus Gems do get missed. You do have a buffer to work with here as Gojek. Can he nail the double column?
And both of them gets it clean. So Jungdex still the one with a little bit of pressure to try to catch up. Now landing a bit more ahead on the relay as well. So that might help secure one extra Lotus Gem Jelly at the end for Jungdex.
Jungdex with a little tiny bit more distance. We'll see if that's consequential. But first, size up coming here on the drop down. Jungdex actually missing one of those Lotus Gems all the way in the very top left.
Yeah, and that brings it back to a 1 million point difference, doesn't it? So Gojek Finesse realizing that he should still be okay, but we've seen a million flip. We can see that point gap flip for sure for the remainder of the race, so Gojek's got to stay focused.
Gojek just looking so solid thus far in this level. You can see him shaking his head and laughing a little bit. Not sure what's going on in that moment as he's considering what's so solid, Chogra.
Yeah, I think wanted to try to secure both of the buffs earlier on, but he realizes that Jungdex missed it as well as the point difference kind of stays consistent. So now both of them staying focused in the last couple phases here of this race.
All right. Single jump coming in, gets a double jump too to collect
Jungdex.
every single Lotus Gem.
Yeah, missed out on another one. So this is kind of flipped now from the previous run where Gojek started to miss 1 or 2 extra ones at each jump. Now Jungdex missing 1 or 2 in the remaining jumps. Now he did have that little extra distance, but I think Gojek should also have just enough towards the end here to make the last jump to secure as many Lotus Gem Jellies as possible. And exactly, it's only going to make the difference for a couple basic jellies. And Gojek will take the win with 735 million.
Wow, that is a lot of points right there, Trower. That was a fantastic performance from Gojek. Now this group just got way more interesting.
Yeah,
with Gojek going 1-1 and now Jungdex also being 1-1. That raises the odds of a potential tiebreaker coming down the pipeline significantly higher here. And you can see for Gojek on stage.
So now looking at Hudo versus Kim Hyo Jin. And of course, we'll introduce the map here in just a second. But Hudo sitting at 1 win, Kim Hyo Jin sitting at 1 loss. So it's the same story. Kim Hyo Jin, especially now having watched Gojek secure his win, making the records 1-1. Hyojin really wants to get that win to tie everybody up and put this entire group into chaos.
All right, match 4 kicking off here in the Ocean preliminaries. It's going to be Hudoldonim on top, leading the group 1-0 versus Kim Hyojin, looking to get his first win of the day.
Yeah, this early phase, you're kind of spamming through to make sure, but then you wait on that last one right before you transform, trying to maximize the destruction points, both of them staying quite equal with only 10,000 points separation.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the earlier levels where the early stages of these maps are just so figured out. It's what you practice. But oh no, Hyojin!
Well.
Oh, a huge grimace.
Yeah, it starts to compound because he kind of was late on that jump to throw the badge, and then he's trying to redeem himself, but he jumps right into the collision. This is why, because obviously the cookies don't stop running, so the time starts to get a little bit messed up when you make one mistake.
Yeah, the energy already depleted here for Kim Hyo-jin as he looks a little bit flustered. Already down 0-1 in this group. It is not the way you want to start, and almost feel like a little bit of caster curse right there, because I was going to say usually these early stages of the maps, because when you're practicing, it's what's going to be the most fresh in your mind. They're the most solved. It's the rarest situation to find a difficulty like that in the early stages, but Hyojin, just one small misstep, and now Hudoronim in a very comfortable position here, up 2.3 million points.
Yeah, he's been okay, Kim Hyojin, since that mistake, but again, it's such a big difference that you're now just kind of hoping that Hudoronim has to make a similar sized mistake in the remaining part of this run.
Yeah, unless he takes some damage. I mean, honestly, you could even miss some of these yellow bears, and I think you're completely fine because you have so much more distance. That energy is absolutely everything. It is literally the lifeblood of your cookies.
Exactly, and we're still seeing a couple of these giant yellow bears being missed out by Kim Hyojin as well, so the point gap just is not shrinking like he would like it. Now, the badge usage being okay before he's on the Tiger, so the jumps are still okay, the recovery good from Kim Hyojin on that sense. So it's great to see that he's not completely flustered, but again, you just gotta pray.
Yeah, in a situation like this one, you just gotta try and play your best possible line and hope that Hudoronim on the other side takes some damage to even everything up, because as we head into these later stages, the track does become considerably more difficult here.
Now, of course, you do have a chance once we switch to the orange cookie, because there you have a lot of skill expression on when you're able to go for that Kim Hyojin, going for the drop, and then using the badge to try to get the extra destruction points, but it's just not going to be enough to try to catch up just yet.
One last ability usage is now coming in. Kim Hyojin can be able to get a little bit more distance because of this ability activation right before he runs out of energy, as we're going to see the difference quite considerable in terms of distance, but there is possibly a comeback here for Kim Hyojin if he can lock it in.
Yeah, the problem's going to be that because of where he started with the orange cookie, he's going to have to try to adjust his muscle memory on when he uses the skill to try to maximize the destruction. He's able to get the last big burst, but he messes up on the first one. They're on the double jump, and now suddenly the point gap widening it to 10 million points.
I mean, it's just so huge, and you have to wonder what do you do here is Kim Hyojin in terms of finding a line to try and come back in this one, because it feels like Hudoronim, he's playing the same story that he did in game number 1. He's not taking any damage. He is in such a good position.
Yeah, now you see Kim Hyojin, trying to maximize the skill usage, so he's actually ending up skipping up on some of these giant yellow bear jellies as well, and it's really starting to cost him. He's trying to catch back up a little bit, though, trying to redeem himself, but the point difference just isn't getting small enough.
Yeah, both these players, of course, getting extra bonus points from those yellow bear jellies here in this later stage. That is the loadout. You can see them prioritize for Hyojin. He's getting closer. It's only 2 million point difference now, actually. Choma, wow.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to just make sure that he's using all the skills ahead of time, but then we're going to see Hudo just going to be able to pace himself, trying to catch back up. Now, Kim Hyojin, you see the calculations coming through once more, so he'll do his best, but I don't think we're going to see a big flip here towards the end as the energy starts to run out here for both. The countdown comes in, and the distance actually a little bit extra for Kim Hyojin, but it's still going to be Hudo Nim who's going to take the win. The crucial mistake early on in the run just cost too much.
Oh, wow. Must have been another collision there for Hudoronim to run out of that energy that we missed. But in any case, just maintaining this consistency. And the underdog coming into this group, Chobra is up 2-0. The best record thus far. All right. Looks like our players are nearly ready on stage. Hudoronim 2-0 in this group thus far, with wins over Gojek, with wins over Hyojin. And now he's looking for the clean sweep. If he is able to win this one level, he is going to the playoffs, the number 1 seed out of Group A. Guaranteed. Whereas if Jungdex wins this one, then suddenly we have a really interesting situation in this group where there is potential for a 3-way tiebreaker should Vanessa also win the last match of the group. All right, Hudoronim on top, Jungdex on bottom, as we are waiting for the map to load in, and here we go.
Off to the races with the Yuhua cookie, both on top and bottom of your screens. Little bit of that difference coming in, but it's not going to be too big. It can really just come down to how well you use your skill manually here. 3 charges, as you can see, above the head of the Yuhua cookie.
Yeah, it seems like the destruction points, if there is going to be a margin of victory, it's going to be much greater than something like 200 or 300,000 is. Here in these earlier stages, as long as you don't take any collision damage, you always have a fighting chance for a comeback, even if you're down, say, 500, 1 million points as we have right now. But you don't want to get completely careless. You don't want that kind of difference to start to scale up too much because it can be hard to close distance.
Yeah, Jungdex earlier on with one of those manual charges, though, did get 1 or 2 extra obstacles. Once again, nice jump from both. So that gives him a decent-sized 1 million lead. He does miss that giant yellow bear jelly, though.
Yeah, missing a yellow bear like that, pretty painful here in these early stages, but still very nice lead for Jungdex thus far. His destruction point usage slightly better here than Hudoronim.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Again, this entire course is designed to just continue that positive reinforcement cycle of destruction with the coins, with the treasures, back and forth, back and forth. So Jungdex sitting pretty safe and comfy as long as he doesn't miss any more, yellow giant bear jellies compared to his opponent.
Yeah, occasionally we'll see players miss one of these jellies. It seems like Hudoronim did miss one of those jellies dropping down on the column, but Jungdex really able to nail it down. Now, he did miss 2 of the last columns, so that gap is closed a little bit here, but still a nice 2.4 million point lead.
Yeah, this map is all about that skill usage, both of them using that last charge as well before we hop back on. Recharge with the 6, destroy every single obstacle on your screens. Using the last one right near the end as well, both of them maximize it.
And now we're heading to the very tricky second stage of this one. Hard to nail the combos exactly here with the destruction points, especially because ability usage is coming in. This is where we can have that disparity in points really start to balloon up.
Yeah, exactly. 2 more charges left before that 1 extra jump onto the Tiger. 1 charge left for both of them. Now looking to use it right before, there you go, trying to get as many of those meteors as possible. Jungdex still keeping approximately that 3 million point lead. We'll see how it evens out after this blast forward. Both of them going for the extra jump, and they both land on the giant yellow bear jelly.
Yeah, exact same distance on both sides, and even similarly timed ability usage here. Very mirrored as it's solid plus 5 million points right now in the favor of Jungdex. Now, here that we switch cookies, is Hudoronim going to have a different angle in terms of the combo? It's a lot harder to time out, maximizing these meteors.
Yeah, it does look like Jungdex has just a bit better control of the skill usage on both cookies. Getting 1 or 2 extra obstacles even there on the double jump. So Hudoronim still using it at the right time, but not entirely perfect.
Yeah, it does seem that way. This has been very clutch here for Jungdex thus far. The timings on these skill usage, so clutch.
Yeah, and he's continuing on with a forward lead. He is a little bit further here on our screens, so we'll have to wait to see what the point difference exactly comes down to when everything syncs up. But I do think Jungdex should be feeling pretty comfy at this point.
Yeah, all these yellow bears getting collected now. Okay, with these double jumps coming in, one should get absolutely every single one. Indeed, they both do.
All right, now just collecting as many of the bear jellies as you can. Now, as long as there's no collision here from Jungdex, I do think he should be okay. Both of them still topped up at 3 charges. Here we go, trying to use them here for the last couple obstacles.
Yeah, looking very solid right now here for Jungdex. The ability usage has been so on point, and plus these jumps, these double jumps coming in, he's maximizing the yellow bears so well here in this second stage.
Yeah, and I think it's looking all but secured here for Jungdex as we go for the final countdown. Both of them getting the extra jumps, and Jungdex will be taking the lead, or the win rather, with 858 million, very close to his personal best of 860. 1-1 record for Gojek Van Ness, going up against Kim Hyojin with a 0-2. So Kim Hyojin here really just fighting for honor, right?
Yes.
No chance to move on, but he can mess things up for Gojek if he takes the win here.
All right, we run it back here on Boiling Stock Village. The games are loading in. Gojek Van Ness on top, Kim Hyojin on bottom. Gojek Van Ness fighting for his tournament life right now here in the World Championship of Cookie Run 2025.
Yeah, Mize are going to come in here on these first 3 charges that you have to use off of the Tiger. If you can maximize the obstacles destroyed here, you get such a nice lead. And we'll see when each of these runners will be using it there, following right after the obstacles. A little bit of a better timing from Gojek, giving him a just slightest lead here in the very beginning.
Yeah, the timings on these skill uses is a great way to have some skill expression on both sides, as we've seen players really distance themselves from the competition. And Gojek right now, it feels like he's kind of doing the same here in this early game with Yugua.
Yeah, just getting one or two of those obstacles right just a bit more perfectly timed on the jump to make sure that the Hope badge is bouncing around perfectly gives him a 1,000,000-point lead. But that, again, just the nature of this map and the setups that we have them using, it could flip at any point in time.
Yeah, actually 2 yellow bears get missed there by Gojek. It seems like he was prioritizing a different line, and as a result, point disparity actually going in the favor of Kim Hyo-jin right now, so nice fight back.
Yeah, just a little bit. Gojek, though, still going to have an opportunity to catch back up as we go through the Tiger phase. This one should be relatively equal once the blast mode ends, but afterwards, again, you're going to have another chance to go for these extra uses, and he's just giving up a little extra point.
Yeah, that's 2 more yellow bears missed right there by Gojek. Is the difference in terms of points just really adding up. Now on these columns, it's okay to lose one of them a couple of times because it's very hard to nail those timings down consistently, but missing, what, 3 or 4 in total for that whole sequence is a painful, painful moment here for Gojek.
Yeah, both of them securing all of those obstacles in the last charge of the Hope badge. Now you pop it back onto the Tiger here for Yuga Cookie, and we will be going into the next area for Boiling Stock Village as we recharge 3 charges for the Hope badge.
This is where those point differences can really start to grow bigger as the meteor timings, in terms of skill expression, trying to hit those combos can be so tough. The timings are very, very close, and also some players even have a couple of different ideas in terms of when the best optimal usage is.
Yeah, both of them utilizing that drop to make sure they can get the jump into the Hope badge, and still perfect timing from both of them, using it at the exact same time. It's allowing Kim Hyo-jin to try to keep the lead. We'll see how the points come back in the total calculation. They both land on the yellow bear jelly, the giant yellow bear jelly, I should say, but Kim Hyo-jin just a step ahead.
Yeah, that might be the difference of 1 or 2 yellow bear jellies if he plays this card right here at the end of the run, and with a 3,000,000-point lead already here for Kim Hyo-jin. Oh, he is really impressing in this final match.
Yeah, it might really just be those, 1 or 2 extra bear jellies you mentioned earlier on from Gojek that starts to add up as we see Kim Hyo-jin keeping the lead. Both of them now back up to 2 charges on the orange cookie.
Global card coming in right now, double jumps here. So far, it looks like Gojek in this later stage, he's playing this very well. The problem is that so is Kim Hyo-jin, and he needs to gain ground. With this ability usage, he does have 1 more in the bank compared to Kim Hyo-jin, but are you going to be able to close the distance as a result of that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we really haven't seen anyone try to maximize the use towards the end. If you haven't used it during those jumps with the meteors, it usually means you've missed out on a chance for a massive point boost. As you can see, Kim Hyo-jin sitting at about 15 million lead, up and down, plus or minus, but if you miss out earlier, you're missing out on the coins, you're missing out on the treasures, it all starts to add up.
Yeah, it just feels like a war of attrition right now in the advantage of Kim Hyo-jin. He has been incrementally a little bit better than Gojek in terms of executing, but oh, was that a collision there for Kim Hyo-jin? That could turn the entire match on its head.
His energy goes down a lot earlier here for Kim Hyo-jin. We'll see if we can get a catch-up here from Gojek. And Kim Hyo-jin's run ends there.
Oh,
Gojek continuing that, and he's going to take the win. A crucial mistake from Kim Hyo-jin as Gojek takes the win with a 10,000,000-point lead. He can't believe it either. He knows, I shouldn't have had the more points. What happened? Okay, so here we go. It's going to be the tiebreaker. Looks like first up is going to be Gojek and Jungdex. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. These 2 run it first, and then we're going to have Hudaldonium go as well. And the 2 with the higher scores will move on in order of the seeds. So first up, this isn't just a competition. It could be both of them moving on, even though they're playing together on stage. It's just that we have 2 stations, so we're going to have to take turns going through it. So even if one of these players loses, no despair just yet, but you want to reach as high as possible. First up, Gojek and Jungdex in the 3-way tiebreaker, continuing on in Boiling Stock Village.
All right, the map is loading in for the first stage of this 3-way tiebreaker. Gojek Van Ness on top, Jungdex on bottom, and the name of the game in this situation is just to get as many points as possible. As Chopra just pointed out, this is not a head-to-head competition necessarily. It's a competition between 3 players to have the top 2 scores.
Yeah, so we're not necessarily looking at the point difference on the right side this time around, but just about who's making what mistakes, who's getting how many points, and collision as we speak for Gojek! Oh no!
Oh, what a disaster. How is this happening so much today in this early stage? This is twice in Group A.
I think the reason it's happening again is because you're trying to maximize your points because it's not just a head-to-head. You're trying to make sure you just narrowly scrape by and use that Hope badge toss to get as many destruction points. We'll see if it costs him a lot. Again, neither of the runners should be concerned about the actual point difference in this matchup. It's more about, do I just get a safe margin?
You kind of do have a little bit of a second chance as well, because either Jungdex or the other player, if either of them makes a mistake, if him or Hudodo take any damage coming in, then suddenly Gojek is at least on equal footing with those players. Again, this isn't necessarily just a head-to-head competition. It's a competition to get the highest score out of 3 players. The top 2 will advance. The bottom score is going out. For Gojek right now, it's a very painful start with that collision early on. But there is still a hope.
Yeah, you gotta just not think about it, right? You gotta not think about looking at the point difference, how far Jungdex is ahead, because we have no idea what's gonna happen with Hudodo when he plays next.
Yes.
So Gojek just has to lock in for the remainder of the rest. Meanwhile, Jungdex also can't be too comfortable here. Obviously, if you beat at least one player, you know that you're moving on to the next, but you want to try to get that first seed as well, so Jungdex is gonna make sure that he stays calm for the rest of this run.
Yeah, he is absolutely locked in right now. A really terrific first half of this map thus far as we head on to the later part of this stage.
Yeah, going into the lava section here. And now both of them, Jungdex just staying calm, not going for anything too crazy, nothing too flashy.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart way to play. Of course, being #1 seed would be an advantage for anybody, but with your tournament life on the line, just be safe, be consistent. You do not want to be the odd man out in this 3-way tiebreaker.
Yeah, exactly. Gojek just trying to maximize his points with a very last-minute use of the Hope badge.
Everything you can here as Gojek to try and close the distance, and you can see the big difference in distance right Gojek. There as the energy for Gojek is dissipating so much earlier due to that earlier collision.
Now the thing is Gojek might still be able to secure a decent chunk with the destruction, but it definitely feels like he's going to miss out on that whole last row of jellies that we have in the orange cookie. He's actually missing out on a couple of those opportunities, a couple extra obstacles as well there on the double jump with the orange cookie.
Yeah, it's quite the significant point disparity right now, and Jungdex still has one more skill in the bank too. So he's been saving it for the later stages. We do see players do this to try and optimize occasionally.
We'll see if there's a better plan here for Gojek. Last time he was gifted a second chance. We already saw that it wasn't exactly his best map. Unfortunately, you only get one extra shot. It's a random draw that brought them to Boiling Stock Village.
As we enter the later stages on this map, not very much left here in this level. Personal best for Jungdex at home, 860 million points. I don't think he's quite going to reach that high, but so far just a terrific run from him, Chokra.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jungdex, if he gets close enough to it, he does have the highest personal best out of our 3 tiebreaker runners today, so he should feel pretty comfortable.
All right, some more jumps coming in right now, just maximizing the destruction points with that skill usage. One more left here for Jungdex they can use in the later stage. Gojek has used absolutely everything. So Jungdex now finally cashing that in. You can see that margin just really increasing up to 30 million plus. What a run! Almost hitting that 860 million mark. For Gojek, only 823.
Oh, no. Okay, so 858 million and a couple extra 100,000 here. And yeah, that does mean that he's at least advancing because he's beaten at least Gojek. So we don't know. Gojek could move on as well. If Hudodo breaks that score, he will secure a spot in the semifinals. But if he cannot, he will be eliminated. And Gojek will continue on to represent Indonesia. Looking to go higher, Hudodo, everybody's watching. You can see the scores to beat on your screens as the run begins. Hudodo aiming for 123 million.
Yeah, so in this situation, we're not looking to compare him versus anybody directly. It's just, is he able to lock in? Can he make as few mistakes as possible here in this stage?
I mean, let's say it like it is, right? No collisions and he should be fine.
Yeah,
no collisions and he should be fine. But we await to see if he's still able to maximize all the destruction points again, because he could beat Jungdex and take the first seed as well in Group A.
You're playing for more than just the 823 million. If you get more than 823, then you do survive. But if you pass 858, if you pass Jungdex's score, then suddenly you're the first seed. That means you are likely going to have an easier opponent in the round of 4 today, giving you a better shot at qualifying, because that round of 4 match is a qualifying match for the finals in October.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, my eyes kind of don't know what to do because we're so used to having to watch both top and bottom of the screen, and now I'm like, oh, well, this is very peaceful, just watching one runner on the screen. But as we see Hudoldonim just using the skill early, he's already trying to go for a little bit just safer of that route, just making sure he's getting the destruction points rather than trying to maximize and maybe risking making a mistake.
He's been so safe, so consistent all day today, and strength is going to be getting tested here on this destruction map. As long as he can play his game, his nice safe game, he's going to be in a good position. All right, drops now coming in here on these columns. Missing one, can be okay on a couple of these. Obviously, you want to get as many as possible, but fighting to survive right now at 823, this is a really good start.
Yeah, again, he's just playing for safety. He knows it. We all know it. We all know what's at stake here as he continues on with no critical blunders.
Yeah, honestly, his line has been really good. He's missed very few yellow bears. You can tell that he is playing to win right now. He's not playing to beat 823. He's playing to beat Jungdex at 858.
Okay, if he does, he could really flip things around here in Group A as we enter the next area, the next phase here on this run.
All right, these jumps, single and double, both coming in, able to collect every single jelly, including these yellow bears while dodging those meteors. And now the first ability usage getting charged up here. Those meteors going down, some more destruction points in the cap.
Okay, one more charge left before he hops on to the Tiger. There we go, using it in the middle of the jumps here for the meteors. And then perfect time with the Tiger as well. Maximizing that, should be able to get the extra jump to land onto the giant yellow bear jelly as well.
Indeed.
It's looking so smooth here for Hudoldonim.
Yeah, perfect line thus far. Gets a ton of extra distance too on the last jump. So things are looking perfect thus far. But this is the trickiest part of this map once we trade off into orange cookie. Not only the skill expression here trying to take down the meteors, but also the risk of potentially taking damage from one of these many obstacles.
Yeah, exactly. So Hudoldonim, again, just has to play it safe. Already looking at 664 million in climbing.
823, the number to beat if he wants to survive. 858.4, the number to beat if he wants to be first place. Coming into this group as the underdog in the Ocean preliminaries, it has been a wonderful day for him thus far. He would love to see it continue. Right now, he is absolutely on track to do that, Chobra.
Yeah, it's looking safe and sound. He misses a rainbow bear jelly there as well, but I don't think that should be the biggest difference maker. Now using one of those charges to get a couple of those extra destructions, still 2 charges in the bank, and will charge back up to 3. So if he wants to maximize his points, he's gonna have to start going through those slams again.
It's another potion, so that energy restocked right now here for Hudoldonim. He's been able to navigate this so well. Honestly, I think he might stand a chance of taking down Jungdex for that top spot. This has been so immaculate.
Now, only 50 million points left to beat Gojek. A little bit more to try to top off Jungdex as the energy starts to drain out. Now breaking at 800 million points here for Hudoldonim. 830 already passing Gojek. He's already qualified. Can he beat the 858? Narrowly missing out, 842 million. And that should mean that Hudoldonim will move on as the second seed here to the semifinals. And unfortunately, Gojek Finesse will be eliminated here in Group A of the Ocean Region preliminaries. But in this round robin, it's all best of ones, and kicking things off here for Group B of the Ocean Region preliminaries, it's Yote versus Kokis.
Let's get to it. The game is loading in, and the spinach cookie is ready to run, and we are getting started. Yote on top, Kokis on bottom.
Yeah, Yote just a bit ahead on our sync on the screen, so we'll be able to try to keep track one by one who's going to make a little bit of the more perfect run here. Hopefully no crucial mistakes from either of our runners as they both secure all of the Lotus Gem Jellies so far.
Yeah, so far looking remarkably similar thus far, getting destruction points right there on Dragon, jumping over the spikes, everything dodged really perfectly here. Just a nice clean early game on both sides.
Yeah, nothing of note. My eyes always are going to be on that second transformation here from the spinach cookie to see if you can really get all of the spikes here on the wheels.
Yeah, some players, they tend to take the more safe line. I wonder whether we're going to have a difference here. Are you going to go all the way down here? No.
Oh, and we do see an extra Lotus Gem Jelly being missed by Kokis there, so that gives the lead back over to Yote up top.
Yeah, as we get closer and closer to that spike decision, we'll see if those points decide to come in. As it is right now, just really safe play coming in from Yote. Not getting that bottom spike there with the power-up.
Yeah, it didn't look like Kokis wanted to, but he didn't want to risk falling off, so he just goes right for the jump. He tried to stay a little bit longer on the slide, but at the end of the day, they are both going to just take this slightly safer route. Now, Koki's able to try to keep the lead here for himself.
I wonder if Koki's was actually able to sneak in some bonus destruction points at some point there, because a 3.3 million point difference when I'm watching Yote and it feels like they're getting every single Lotus Gem. It's surprising.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Yote can try to catch back up here. Jumping up for those Lotus Gem Jellies should be able to secure all the ones here. That's not the more difficult one. It's going to come down when they go over to the lily pads if you can secure every single one.
Yeah, a lot of players here on the lily pads will skip just one of these Lotus Gem Jellies to play it safe. We'll see if either of these players decide to go for it. Yote with a head start. Okay, they do go for one skip. That's going to make it much easier to secure every single one here in the second. But actually missing a second, too.
Yeah, Yote missing 2 total on that run. That's going to continue to give extra point leads here for Koki's as they go for that extra destruction here with the spinach cookie. And this means there's not too many opportunities for Yote to try to catch up. It's going to come down to whether Koki's makes any mistakes once you switch over to the Ion Cookie robot.
Yeah, oftentimes the point difference determining a winner here on Beneath the Lilies is about 1 million points. The first column drop comes in. Both of them able to navigate that very well. And so for Yote, I'm kind of concerned right now. It feels like they have a little bit more distance, but I don't think it's enough compensation for a 3.5 million point lead.
Yeah, the early destruction points really costing Yote just a little bit. We'll see. He's still going to be able to secure all the Lotus Gem Jellies, but it just might come down to the fact that he might not have enough opportunities unless Koki's messes up, right? The destruction points add up to so much. Koki's actually getting the clean Lotus Gem Jellies there as well, continuing to get extra point leads.
Yeah, Yote missed one more Lotus Gem right there, and you really can't afford any misses in a situation like this one head-to-head. You got to close the distance right now. Size Up coming in, able to collect all the Lotus Gem Jellies are both players.
Yeah, and just playing it nice and smooth here for Koki's. Yote, again, nothing crazy, right? No collisions or anything like that, but just not maximizing the early skill usages. And that's 3 millions. Of course, he's going to be looking at that point difference on the right side and knowing that the pressure's on him just a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit painful here for Yote because the early game, it was a bit rocky, but since then, they've been playing very well. It's just that lead has not relented here for Koki's. They have played so consistently, so solidly. Oof.
Yeah, just going for that transformation here for Koki's on the drop. Meanwhile, Yote just playing the safe jumps there, and he will be able to secure just as many in the last row, but Koki's knows as soon as his run ends, he's kept the lead. 4 million extra points with 736 million. Koki's takes the first win. Yeah, there you have it. 7 here to represent Thailand, going up against Jinju, playing here from home ground in Korea. And they are off beneath the lilies once more. 7 on the top of your screens, Jinju on the bottom. And let's see if they start off smooth with the maximum amount of points here in the early phase.
Yeah, my eyes are going to be glued on 7 on top to see exactly what kind of route they want to take here today. Will they be going for the earlier destruction points that we've seen pay off times here in Group A and Group B of the Ocean preliminaries, or will they be playing nice and conservatively?
Oh, Jinju actually just going for way too lax of a couple of jumps there, missing a couple of the Alphabet Jellies, missing one Lotus Gem Jelly as well, and it all adds up to about a 300,000 point difference early on.
Ooh, jumps between the Toads as well. Someone actually missing one of the Lotus Gems. It looks like Jinju able to get all of them thus far, so he will close the distance a little bit with that.
Yeah, taking the lead back in. So both of them are kind of shaky here compared to some of our other runners in the beginning. We'll see if they stabilize as we continue on.
I think the destruction points are going to be the most important thing. I'm very curious what the line these players take is going to be because, hey, say you're playing a little bit shaky here in the very early stages.
Yeah, Rainbow Bear Jelly being missed by Jinju there in between the spikes. He is able to get the second one, and 7 secures that extra obstacle that we see some of the players go for up top, so he's going to be able to keep the lead here in the early phase.
Yeah, very well played there by 7.
Now continuing on to the next area, 7 a little bit faster here on our screens. We'll try to see if he's able to continue with the lead. Another Lotus Gem getting missed here from Jinju. It's going to start to add up, 1 or 2 of these, starting to add up to 2 or 3, then it's 4 or 5, and then it's 1 million, 2 million point differences.
Yeah, it certainly does seem to compound here in the early game, but 7 is also not playing exactly perfectly. It's their first match on stage today, and so you can see that they're both a little bit shaky. 7 occasionally missing 1 or 2 Lotus Gems. As now we go to the lily pads, a lot of players like to skip one of the Lotus Gems just for safety and security. We see 7 do that on top. We also saw Jinju do that on bottom, so both of them -1 here. Actually going to be -2 for 7.
Yeah, that gives a little bit of hope for Jinju. Right now, you're back down to around 500,000 point difference. That's definitely recoverable if you play perfectly for the rest of the run.
Yeah, it's been a really close match, and honestly, at this point, I feel like neither player is really going to play perfectly. It's tough when it comes down to these columns. You know, we've already missed a lot of Lotus Gems. Really see two more get missed there by Jinju.
Yeah, one before that as well. It just feels like Jinju is playing a bit too lax.
Wow.
But an entire column being missed by 7, and that's exactly where the lead flips a little bit forward for Jinju as well on the relay.
Yeah, that must have been 8 or 9 Lotus Gems missed right there by 7, and you know, it might not be as consequential as a collision, but in a match as close as this one, it is critical. Now here on the very big column,
another missed again from 7. Oh no, those drops, they're such important drops, and Jinju's still missing 1 or 2 though. So this might actually come down to a closer difference than we thought, because Jinju continued to play more lax on some of these jumps, but 7 missed the big bulks that we always talk about here on this map.
Yeah, I can already see that Jinju missing a Lotus Gem here and there. It has closed the distance a little bit now to 1.4 million, but 7, he's going to have to make some magic happen if he wants to come back in this one. There really aren't too many big point opportunities to gain here over your opponent. You got to be so clutch.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. 7 just has to play as perfectly as possible, and then it just comes down to does Jinju continue to miss 1 or 2 on every single section? Ooh. Okay, both of them.
4 Yellow Bears got missed there by Jinju on the bottom.
True.
So that lead is considerably going down. Still a nice buffer of 1.2 million here in the later stages of this map, but 7 is starting to close it up.
Yeah, not much left. Both of them playing safe, going for the extra jump before the transformation into phase 3, and I don't know if it's going to be enough. The last row of Lotus Gem Jellies, they both collect all of them, and it's going to be just 1 million difference for Jinju as he takes the win.
Man, what a close match. I honestly think it really does just come down to those columns, because besides that, it was a lot more solid by 7, but hey, Jinju been so consistent and also nailing.
Jinju versus Kokis, continuing on with Beneath the Lilies here in match 3 of Group B.
Going here, both these players undefeated thus far, looking to go 2-0 in this group.
And now Kokis on the bottom side, looking nice and calm. My eyes a little bit actually tied to the top side for Jinju. See if he skips out on any unnecessary jellies here. Once again, maybe it's just habit. He's kind of skipping over that. Again, another early Lotus Gem Jelly loss as well.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. As you said, it's a little bit lax. It's comfortable to kind of play this style and not try to min-max absolutely everything, because usually the difference maker in terms of who wins and who loses the match is 1 or 2 big mistakes. And so I kind of respect just being in your element, just being like, you know what, I'm not going to play for the high score. I'm just going to play to try and get through nice and safely. But as you said, when you miss Lotus Gem Jellies like this again, it can start to add up.
Yeah, and now you're kind of hoping that Kokis makes a mistake at that point, right? Because if you're just playing to not make crucial mistakes, but you're missing out on 1 or 2 extra, well, if the other guy's playing perfect, that's going to be a bit of a deal breaker. Both of them getting that first Rainbow Bear Jelly. What about the second one here?
Ooh,
another one, once again missed by Jinju.
Yeah, Jinju missing that. Didn't even go for the extra destruction point either, so I think it's going to be harder for them to close the distance. Will they get this bear? Yes, they will indeed. So at least able to catch that one. But already after this early stage here on Beneath the Lilies, 1.3 million lead here for Kokis. That is a rough start here for Jinju.
Yeah, but I'm going to hold my breath a little bit, right? We made a bit of a bigger deal on that last run, and then, of course, his opponent, 7, missing those big drops. So we'll see. Kokis looked calm during the opening match, but you just never know since it's just 1 go in a best of 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of big moments left here on Beneath the Lilies that both players have to be ready for. This 1.3 million point lead could vanish in a moment on either side as we have the single jumps coming in right now. Just collecting these coins and bouncing down onto the lily pads. Will we have the same 1 gem skip here coming in from Jinju? Will they try to close the distance? It actually is going to be that 1 gem skip. So playing it nice and safe once more.
Yeah, 1 extra one missed by Kokis, a couple extra jellies as well. So that brings the gap back down to around 400,000. Jinju's going to be looking at that. Happy to know that there's still a good shot remaining here on Beneath the Lilies.
Yeah, I mean, 400,000 halfway through Beneath the Lilies is basically nothing, right? I mean, that could change in an instant, especially with the columns that we have coming up in a moment. First one here, double column.
All right, nice and clean for both players. So Kokis going to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, I'm sure, and both of them getting a little bit of the jump here for the relay, not entirely the furthest distance.
Jinju missing another Lotus Gem there right before the relay. You can't afford those in a situation like this one, but another big column.
Oh
man!
See what I said? It happens again. Jinju's just got something hovering over his opponent's heads.
Yeah.
Makes them miss the big drops.
That's incredible. Jinju just so good at the most important part of this map, catching those columns, because it's not just 1 or 2 Lotus Gems if you mess up. It's what, 6, 7, maybe even 8 or more? It's huge.
How is that happening every time?
Hey, man, they're feeling relaxed. You know, there's no pressure. They're chilling. They're taking it nice and easy. They're not trying to get the best possible score. They come to the columns like, it's no sweat. I nail this and I'm cooking. That's exactly what Jinju does. Now look at this, 900,000 point lead. I love it.
I can't believe it. I'm in awe. The race isn't over yet, but I am in awe that this has happened twice in a row for Jinju, where he's able to just play calm and a little bit lax, but he's somehow got opponents missing the biggest drops here on this run.
Hey, it's working thus far. It can't knock it, right? If it gives you 2 leads like this one heading into the later stages.
The last couple seconds here, a couple Lotus Gem Jellies missed, and not getting that extra jump here from Kokis, and that is going to give the victory to Jinju.
What a win there for Jinju. Just that nice, calm demeanor paying off.
All right, Seven and Yote, both of them looking to redeem themselves, both sitting at 1 loss. And now that we have Jinju moving up with a 2-win record, Kokis back down to a 1-1, it's anybody's game out of these two.
All right, match number 4 here in Group B of the Ocean region. 7 representing Thailand, Yote representing Korea. Let's get down to business. It's time for the destruction points, and already those activations coming in.
Going through that first phase, now it comes down to the 3 charges you get off of the Tiger. You have to use them with a single jump. And of course, you want to make sure you maximize how you use them. You have to take some risks as you get right by the obstacles, just like we did see there. 7 using it at the same time as well.
Yeah, it's very tricky going for that, as we saw earlier today. I think 2 collisions on Boiling Village already thus far today. As Yote and 7, it seems like they're able to get past it without too much trouble.
Yote just making sure that he's focusing more on the skill. Missed out on a couple extra jellies, it looked like, but had a little bit of a lead earlier on. Should be able to keep it, actually coming down just to pretty much the same score here at 100,000 difference from either player.
Yeah, it's very close early on, especially on this map. Oh no! Oh no! For Yote, not only missing 2 yellow pairs, but also the collision. What is it with Boiling Pod Village? Or Boiling Stock Village today? There is so much damage being done. I feel like it's almost every single time we cast it, and it's always in this early stage.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just you're thinking about how to make the jump to use the skill, and sometimes you're looking too far ahead. Whatever else it might be, that's going to be a little bit costly here for Yote. No further big mistakes from Yote on the bottom screen, but again, you're already a little bit behind. He's trying to catch up just a bit, though.
Yeah, but we saw this earlier on today, especially in that tiebreaker. Even if you play perfectly from here on out, you need your opponent to still make some kind of mistake if you want to come back. And so for 7, they might not know exactly that this happened yet. The point discrepancy isn't very significant. Okay, well, now it finally is 3.7 million. But you're not really going to know until you have that relay handoff. And once you do here as 7, I think you just try and play as safe as possible.
Exactly, because the distance is also kind of come into play with a collision like that, because you're losing out on energy. Now, with the Yugwa, you can still try to regain a little bit because you go onto that Tiger in the last phase, and you can try to extend it, get a little bit of that jump for the relay. But we'll see how Yote handles it. Still 2 charges on both before they hop onto the Tiger. 1 more Hope badge bounce here. Yote gonna use it on the last jump right onto the meteors. Goes on. Still only misses out on 1 destruction there.
And you can see Yote barreling on with no energy. You are able to get his Trobers a little bit more distance there on the transition, but that's still a lot of space.
Now, let's see. The blessing might come into play here as well for Yote. Of course, going for the extra blessing here during blast mode.
You got to get as many destruction points as possible in a situation like this one. You really need them to close the distance.
It does look like he missed the timing a little bit on that second wave of meteors falling down, so Yote not maximizing the destruction points. 7 just going through safely with a nice chunky lead so far.
Yeah, 7 at 11 million knows that something went wrong on Yote's side of the stage. And right now, just confirming some more of these, dodging the obstacles, making sure they take no damage. It's a really clean finish here thus far. Let's see if they can keep it up, because there are some tricky moments left here on this match, but it's looking to absolutely be going 7's way.
Yeah, now we just see late collisions earlier as well, so far in the ocean region. So you can't let your guard down just yet. 7 has to stay focused. You can't look at the score and be like, oh, the race is over. You never know in Cookie Run Over Break. Yote's still doing his best as well, hoping that there's a slip up on the other side.
Yeah, but thus far 7 defending the lead very well. Timing's coming in on the destruction points here too, avoiding all these obstacles. That points lead has gotten smaller, but do not forget the extra energy that 7 has.
Yeah, Yote just trying to get whatever extra jellies he can, get the points as well, trying to get those extra treasures to activate. But you're right, it doesn't look like it's possible. The energy ending just about still the same distance, but it's going to be 7 who takes the win without any crucial mistakes here on Boiling Stock Village. And if one of them wins, they get 2 wins, and the other one ends with only 1 win. So that already puts 2 players at 2 wins, 2 players at 1 win max. And then it's just a matter of seeding that comes down to the last match.
All right, Boiling Stock Village once more here. 7 on top, Kokis on bottom in the Cookie Run Over Break World Championship preliminaries. And let's see how 7 is going to be able to do on this one. Actually, let's see how both of them are going to be able to do, because honestly, I have been so surprised by the numbers of collisions that we've gotten here on Boiling Stock Village. It has been kind of unexpected.
It's going to be a little bit interesting to see if we see any.
Oh my goodness, it happens again. What is this?
How
does this keep happening?
You have to greet it. You have to jump so close to try to use the Hope Badge bounce, and it just leads to a collision here for Kokis.
How does it happen again? I'm losing my mind watching this. Because it feels like in week 1 of the preliminaries, in the desert and the plain regions, I think we might have had 1 collision in total on Boiling Stock Village. I don't quote me on that. That was a week ago. There were a lot of matches that were played, but this is like the 4th or the 5th time today that we have had a collision come in with one of these players, and especially in the early stage of this match. Now, I know the timings are very tricky because, as you said, you have to cut it as close as possible to the obstacles to play optimally, to maximize the points, but oh my goodness, it just feels cursed today.
Exactly, it is a little bit tough here, so it's gonna be hard to tell, but we'll see. We'll see if Kokis is able to redeem himself a little bit as we continue on here with the Yugwa Cookie.
Yeah, of course, in the early stage with the Yugwa Cookie, you can make up some of the lost energy with the skill activation, and so there is some potential here for a comeback. It's not as consequential as it would be, say, on Beneath the Lilies, but of course, any time that you take damage like that, it's going to be a critical moment.
Yeah, and I just had to go back and double check because we were kind of focusing on if we had some differences during the blessing from the Magic Candy. Yeah. But I also believe Kokis actually coming in with a disadvantage on the skin effect for the Orange Cookie. Much less points for the Orange Poke Jelly. So with that early collision, Kokis already very far back on his back foot.
All right, well, we're entering the 2nd stage of this level now. Kokis down remarkably few points given everything that's happened thus far, that collision coming in, but the energy bar really tells the story there for 7.
Well, let's see if Kokis able to at least get that extra distance coming off of the Tiger, see if he can just get a little bit more to redeem himself. 1 last charge left on the Hope Badge bounce. Actually, it's a nice clean and only missed out on the 1 meter, which is the maximum here for either player.
So we'll see exactly what the distance advantage is going to be for 7 here in just a moment. As they hop on the Tiger, the energy runs out, and S7 maybe a little bit shorter than you would expect to be in the situation, but still miles ahead of Kokis.
Yeah, and 7 once again should start to realize that I can just play this safe. It's not going to be a big deal. You're already so far ahead on the points.
All right, the combo's coming in for Kokis. If Kokis wants to win this match, they need to be able to get as many points as possible. We also have to keep our eyes on 7 because we have also had, not just in the early stages, but in the late stages, collisions on this map.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. You can't let your guard down just yet, Kokis. Not making too many more crucial mistakes here, but again, you're so far behind now, 13 million. Trying to get whatever destruction you can, but it looks like he's starting to try to use them just a bit early as well. Just a tad bit fidgety, not as perfect as you want to be.
Yeah, and 7 just playing great defense on top right now. That lead comfortably at 10 million, plus the extra energy that 7 has got. And the double jumps coming in, collecting all of these jellies, getting the extra energy as well.
Now still sitting at 10 million lead here for 7. Probably glancing at that, realizing that I just have to make sure I'm not really hitting any collisions and I should be okay. Just don't save up those charges for the skill here for the Orange Cookie.
It's gotta just be a nice safe game right here as 7 saving actually one of those points. Okay, now finally uses it. It actually is Koki saving one of those destruction points. So finally the skill activation comes in. That does lower the lead a little bit here. It's still 5 million with basically nothing left, Trevor. I think Seven's done it again.
Yeah, not able to get the full distance jump for either player either, but once again, Seven is going to be able to take the lead, closing things out. All right, now the power of the Space Donut coming in for Jinju. We'll see. We'll see if he's able to mind control his opponent once more.
All right, Jinju on top, Yote on bottom here in the last match of the round robin. And Cobra, my one question to you, are we going to have a collision early on, dude?
Listen, Jinju's got some magic going on here on stage. So whether it's missed jellies, whether it's collisions, he might get Yote to make another blunder here. See if it happens. That first crucial jump right here, right past the obstacles. Both of them make it. No collision. They get the destruction as well.
Very well done on both sides. You know, it's kind of wild because after last week casting the preliminaries for the Desert Plain regions, my impression of Boiling Stock Village typically is that here in the early stages there isn't much of a difference. The game is mostly decided in the later stages when the destruction points are coming in. Who can better nail those combos? But the story so far today has just been the collisions thus far. Yeah. And luckily for both these players, they have been able to navigate at least that tricky earlier part with the timings very cleanly. And I hope I'm not jinxing it too much by talking about it. I would love to have one map at least here without a collision.
Yes, a clean run hopefully from both of our players. Now, Jinju still barely staying ahead. It's really coming down to just a couple jellies missed here and there for either one, just exactly when they're jumping. They're all getting the crucial big ones, you know, the giant bear jellies, things like that. And now going through with the destruction on Tiger, we go back to another 3 manual charges on the jump.
And coming down here on these drops. Oh, one of these yellow bears does get missed there by Jinju. Occasionally you do see players miss one of them, occasionally 2 if he missed 2 on the jump in a row. In fact, that's exactly what we see there by Jinju. Oh, did they both miss it? I was watching Jinju on top. It's tricky, man. That timing has to be perfect.
Exactly. So very consistent. Barely any difference here for both players. This might
9,000
come down to the extra blessing change of the orange cookie at this point.
Yeah, the blessing change or just the destruction point straight up. You know, who can hit the most comments is, looks like our screen actually go out there on top.
Yeah, we will just be keeping our eyes here on Yote as we continue to see the points just stay very consistent for both.
Yeah, and of course, if you're watching at home, it's the first time that happened today. You don't need to worry. The players, they're completely locked in. They can see the screen all the time, so Jinju's not going to be worrying about that. It's just the feed sometimes gets a little bit hiccupy.
Yeah, both of them going for it. Jinju going for the drop and then jump back up to use the Hope, whereas Yote just trying to stay up top, but Yote actually taking a bit of a heftier lead.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Jinju actually missed one of those yellow bears, which I think is the main reason, the main culprit behind this deficit here. I wonder if they got any distance as compensation. It seems like they didn't.
Yeah, both of them just landing on the exact giant yellow bear jelly here on the relay. Now onto the orange cookie, and we do have a magic candy difference. The blessing here for Yote is going to be jellies during blast mode. Let's see if it comes in to pay off for Yote.
Yeah, some really good skill activations there for Yote on bottom as, man, they're getting so much. Actually been able to turn or work up to a, 3.1 million lead there for just a moment. Then the scores settle once more. We're closer to 1 million. That is so close here for Boiling Point Bridge.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to whenever they use their skills, of course, because that can really change how that burst of scores come in. But so far, it looks like Yote looking pretty comfy here to be able to combo the skills into the blast mode to try to get those extra points and try to get a heftier lead.
Yeah, now the big difference in points is because Jinju is saving one more charge on the skill activation. So let's see if that's going to translate into a lead here. They're going for the Hail Mary right now, trying to close the distance.
Yeah, this is going to be tough because even if you're able to get that extra wall that we saw earlier from one of our other players, Jinju, you're not going to be able to close an entire 10 million gap, I don't think.
It might be closer than you think, though. We do have that one extra charge. It does get a lot of points.
Yeah, the bear party being missed by Yote, so it brings it right back down to about 5 million as we see the extra destruction come in as well for Jinju.
All right, going into the final moments, though, that skill activation did get used, and still there is a lead there for Yote. I think that might just be it. 857 to 849, and Yote is going to be winning.
Much further distance for Yote as well. A giant lead towards the end, going further than we've seen, actually, from any of our runners so far here in Boiling Stock Village.
Means we're going to have what? Jungdex versus Jinju there.
Jungdex versus 7.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, cross seeds. There we go.
Yeah,
I don't have to try and make this
7.
up.
Yeah, there you go. Hudoldonium versus Jinju. Should be some interesting matches coming up.
Oh, that's going to be a really fun one. We've got some high-speed cookies there on the Temple of the Sun in this tournament. And I'm curious how it's going to go. Look at the best scores on both of these two. 560 million apiece. Now, of course...
Jungdex on the top screen, 7 representing Thailand on the bottom screen. Of course, both starting with the Vampire Cookie.
Yeah, Vampire Cookie to start things out. Pass-through is going to be absolutely critical here in this first map.
Yep, able to get that last pass-through as well for both. So staying very close to the points so far.
And of course, it's a very tricky map with all the zip lines. You got to jump up and down. Timing's going to be very tricky. The paths forward can be very tricky, but the early game looking really good. Jungdex just a small lead there with pass-throughs.
Yeah, and Jungdex again specifically talked about being able to utilize that aspect of the Vampire Cookie very confidently coming in. So we'll see. It did look like he actually missed a couple extra star jellies and giant star jellies as well. So giving the lead now over to 7.
It did kind of look like that. I think 7 might have missed one pass-through on bottom, but because he got those jellies, of course, a lot of points getting racked up. It's really close.
It's very, 10,000 points, like this is basically the same score right now between these two cookie runners as they continue on. Now looking for the next phase here with the bat.
Yeah, going into that high-speed mode there with the bat, just going to make sure you get all these jellies vacuumed up. Indeed, they both do.
Yep. Ooh, getting a lot more extra pass-throughs there by Jungdex. 2 or 3 extra obstacles there that you're able to sap the energy from. So that's going to be the 200,000 point lead.
Ah, yeah, man, that confidence. Oh, no, another collision coming in here with 7. That is so brutal.
Yeah, well, more looks like as well, losing so much energy.
Man, that's a heartbreaker right there for 7. His opening match is not going the way that he wanted. Man, the collisions have been so common thus far today in a stacked group.
Yeah, and sure, the points right now, it's a little bit deceiving because you look at the energy, it's a giant gap. And if you consider the pass-through advantage that Jungdex has on a lot of these obstacles so far as well, considering the Vampire Cookie and the nature of it, Jungdex should have a lot more left on this run.
Yeah, hurting for the energy like that is going to be painful, especially finishing with a Skater Cookie. It's such a difference in distance. I mean, the point acquisition opportunities here for Jungdex coming forward are going to be absolutely huge as long as he's able to avoid any collisions.
Yeah, exactly. Double collisions back-to-back is going to be so rough for 7, and you called it, because the Skater Cookie, once you relay onto it, it's just about how fast you go, but if you relay earlier, now you're not used to exactly how you're going through with the Skater Cookie. The muscle memory is not going to be good for you. You just have to actually look at the rest of the course. So Jungdex looking stable right now. The points a little bit deceiving. Jungdex isn't going to quite know until we see the relay happen, and then he'll start to click that he's got so much more energy left.
Yeah, imagine Jungdex just be like, man, what line is this 7 guy taking? Why does he have 3 million more points than me? And then the moment the energy meter runs out here for 7, he's like, that explains it.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple extra giant star jellies missed for 7 as well, and there's the early relay coming in for 7. Things are not looking great as we already see Jungdex still continuing on so much further with the Vampire Jelly, going through with the bat phase as well with extra pass-throughs, already up to 8 million lead.
Man, he hasn't even passed the baton yet to that Skater Cookie.
Just not able to go through with the jumps as well. Yeah, Jungdex still going extra. Meanwhile, my eyes are on 7, and because of that early relay, not able to secure so many of those giant star jellies, giving a drop as well. And 7 just not having a great time here on Temple of the Sun Central Arena.
I mean, it's a hard map. The maps are going to continuously keep getting harder here as we continue on in the matches today, but props to Jungdex. It's been so good.
Yeah, again, unless Jungdex, I don't know, just has like continued collisions and falls now with the Skater Cookie, it's just not looking good. And this is the tough part about a game like Cookie Run, is that there isn't really a plan once you make a mistake like that. You just have to continue on and try your best. And you can see a little bit of frustration on the camera here from 7, a little bit flustered as well, knowing that what were you supposed to do? Your whole game plan was thrown off once you had back-to-back collisions.
Yeah, the collisions basically spelled the doom. You could play completely perfectly from that moment on, and it will not make a lick of difference unless Jungdex also somehow messes up and You can see the difference right now in terms of distance coming through. Jungdex just really covering so much ground. 46 million point lead, and he is up 1-0. It is now match point in his favor.
Yeah, getting the 1-0, 555 million. The celebration comes through from Jungdex as he takes the lead in this best of 3.
All right, it's going to be Jungdex on top, 7, the representative from Thailand here on bottom as the map is loading in. 7, the first one to load up. We're starting with the Schneeball cookie. Let's go.
Yeah, just want to make sure that you're jumping in, swinging that hammer to make sure you get the extra points.
Of course, just want to rack those up as much as possible here in the early game.
Yeah, both of them going for the drop to get rescued here and then come back up to pick up the extra points.
Construction points they're coming in, and my eyes are going to be on these first couple of Bitter Bear jellies because they are so dangerous.
That one right there is an important one. Just
you gotta thread the needle.
Yeah, sneak your way into the Yellow Bear Jelly Party. Both of them able to secure that. 7, nice, avoiding that extra party.
Oh no, he had a Bitter Bear.
Yeah, he wasn't able to jump above it, and that's going to be quite a few points lost, but still has a bit of a lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, all things considered. It's one of the Bitter Bear parties that doesn't affect too many of the jellies, so he's able to hold on, able to dodge that Bitter Bear and that one as well.
And here you don't want to get baited into jumping, but now again, just these carefully crafted designs for the devs to weave in and out, above and below.
Yeah, it's very tricky going for these timings. One false step and you're eating the Bitter Bear jelly, losing a ton of points, but look at this, both players able to collect every single one.
Yeah, avoiding that last bit of the Bitter Bear party as well. Nice, getting the extra Yellow Bear party here for 7, continuing on with the lead.
Yeah, it's looking really good. As long as we don't have any more connections here on the Bitter Bears for 7, I'm feeling pretty confident in their chances thus far, but no lead is safe, not even a 500,000 point one.
No, that's still so small. Anything could change. Again, it all just comes down to whoever's making a mistake at this point. Taking it saved here with the blast mode, just making sure that you're staying calm. You don't have to panic here. There you go, both of them jumping over it. Yeah. They're gonna skip the first jump here with the Schneeball, making sure that they're still able to get the gold comet at the end.
Yeah, you can't skip one of those jumps there with a Schneeball and still collect it. And they're actually finishing at just about the same time, 500,000 point difference. This is so close as we pass on the cookie.
Exactly. Now on to Cream Puff Cookie. Both of them getting that extra jump on the relay as well. Still sitting at about a 500,000 difference. Once again, threading the needle for both players as they continue on with extra Yellow Bear jellies.
Yeah, and it's dangerous too because in a match like this one, where the score is so close, you want to go for every single jelly. And that's going to bring you dangerously close to these Bitter Bears.
Yeah, oh my gosh, 7 still holding on to the lead. You gotta imagine at some point the pressure starts to get to you knowing that you just cannot afford a mistake. That's what cost you that first map win.
These Bitter Bears dropping down now.
Oh, that's another collision. A bit of a panic jump on the drop, trying to make sure he doesn't go too far below. The later part Bitter Bear jelly parties aren't gonna matter, but he's just not going to get the distance. 7 knows the match is over as Jungdex continues on, finishing the run, and the celebration comes through as Jungdex wins 2-0 to not only continue to the finals, but also all the way to the World Championship main stage.
Yeah, congratulations there to Jungdex, and man, 7 was playing such a great round number 2 on his map of choice, but just one small collision. Certainly if Jinju makes it here, but
there you go.
He still has one more hurdle to pass through. A who has been looking so impressive thus far today. This guy coming into Group A was going up against Gojek, Kimojin, Jungdex, these top players who ranked significantly higher than him in the GCL.
He just get rid of the Space Sword Jelly. Okay, so we have Jacket Off for Hudodonim as the race begins, and Jinju, without the Space Donut Jelly, realizing that he's going to be locked in, leaning forward here on the speedy run in Temple of the Sun Central Arena.
Yeah, I guess the jelly is out.
Ooh, a lot of Giant Star Jellies being missed here from Hudodonim. They're giving up massive lead for Jinju.
Yeah, that's substantial. Wow, a lot missed here in the early stages. 3 million in total. Let's see if he can rebound here in some of these later stages. Dropping down a little bit there on the zip lines. That's even more getting missed.
Do you think the Space Donut Jelly was actually just suppressing the true power of Jinju?
Yeah, maybe.
that he was just going easy on his opponents?
Who knows? Perhaps they both are at the second stage of the boss fire, right? The jacket comes off, and so does the plushie.
Yeah, Jinju saw it, and he said, oh, you want to go? You want to go to phase 2? I'll take you to phase 2 as he continues on with a 5 million point lead.
Yeah, double jumps now coming in, connecting here onto the zip lines. It's a little bit of an easier section now as the path through. Let's see if there's any destruction opportunities here for either of these players. Yeah. Just a 1 for 56K.
And the pasture there, Jinju's maximizing that as well, getting one extra one. Hudodonim not able to get the full pasture there. So we are going to see, as we move on into the next phase, Jinju regaining his...
It's another collision! Why won't it stop? Make it stop, Chopra!
A similar spot as well!
Oh man,
but
he had such a significant lead.
But it wasn't back-to-back. It wasn't back-to-back. That's the important part. And he got the extra shield here, so it should be okay, I think. We'll have to wait to see, because Jinju was able to recover there with the extra bonuses that he got, while Hudodonim doesn't maximize it.
It's going to be closer no matter what as a result of that one. A lot of Jinju's power just diminished right there, and we'll see eventually how this one is going to go. As it is, Jinju still maintaining a lead of about 7 million points.
All right, well, Jinju still able to actually maximize the extra health that you're able to get here. And so going through, he's actually, it might even be in the lead for distance, because Hudodonim had missed a couple of those.
The grape jellies, yeah, of course, you were the vampire. You need those to get the energy. That does factor in a little bit. It mitigates some of the damage done by that collision.
And also still a massive point lead as well. So as long as Jinju's playing okay from here, that might actually somehow be some saving grace.
How insane would it be if Jinju has a collision and still wins the map?
That would be actually the craziest thing. We'd have to investigate whatever's going on there with his space donut plushie. There's something there. But right now, both runners continuing on, trying to maximize all of them. Of course, Hudodonim a little bit ahead on our sync, so we'll see where he's going to land on the relay here for the Skater Cookie.
All right, some more jumps now coming in. Everything collected, actually, yeah.
Look at that, so much extra distance here for Jinju with the Skater Cookie start.
Yeah, those grape jellies really proven to be a difference maker right now here for Jinju. Was so much better at collecting them, apparently. You know, it's not as flashy as the collision, but it really seems to have added up.
Oh boy, Hudodonim trying to stay locked in. Now the lead continuing to compound itself for Jinju.
Oh,
and
no!
That's a collision for Hudodonim.
Oh man, the collisions are rampant today, and now Jinju, it was looking like a comeback already. That might have just solidified his position right here. Barring another mistake, if he can navigate the latter portion of this map, and we're almost at the finish line, this could be a map 1 win.
Yeah, it should look safe and sound here for Jinju. He's been able to look at the score. He knows as long as he doesn't make any more mistakes, he should be okay. Hudodonim leaning forward, trying to maximize whatever points he can get, but he will be running out of energy and will not continue the run as Jinju continues to go for a higher score and in some crazy miracle takes the first map win.
Wow, what a game from Jinju. Coming back after that early collision, so many players would have that collision and suffer for it. This map is loading up. Hudodonim on top, Jinju on bottom. Both starting here with the Schneeball Cookie.
All right, we'll see those early bear jelly parties coming in now. The real tricky ones will come out later, both going for that intentional fall to rise back up to make sure they can get that yellow bear jelly party.
Yeah, good moves on both sides, and I'm really just waiting for the first needles to get thread through those bitter bears because they are absolutely dangerous, especially that one right there. And no, Jinju gets hit. No yellow bears for you. Oh man, Hudodonim already takes a dividends and a collision. It gets worse.
Wait,
that's another bitter bear.
Hold on.
This is a collapse.
This is the true test. If Jinju somehow still wins this map, I want the admins to rip apart the Space Donut plushie because there's something going on. If Jinju somehow still wins this race, well, there's definitely special powers at play here because these are massive blunders in the early part of this run.
I mean, everything that could go wrong basically did go wrong right here for Jinju. Down 10 million points very early on in this stage, and usually have pretty close scores moving in on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to take our eyes away from Jinju's screen right now to see if there anything else starts to collapse, because it really just feels like it's starting to spiral out of control. He's trying to regain himself, but look at that. He's starting to play safe because he's scared of making mistakes. He's missing some of these yellow bear jellies.
Yeah, he might be playing a little bit too safe right there. Threads the needle again, able to catch another one of these yellow bear jellies, and much like map number 1, he needs to hope that Hoodlum is going to have some kind of collision, hit some kind of bears, because it is so painful. You can see Jinju actually opting to go for distance instead of getting the yellow bears.
Exactly. He just wants to make sure that he can maximize the run to get as many jellies as possible rather than, the 10, 20 extra yellow bear jellies. Of course, a costly one, but it's a choice he had to make because of the mistake earlier. Almost secures all of those on the drop, but look at the point difference. I mean, this is just so far ahead here for Hoodlum.
Yeah, and Hoodlum again threads the needle on these bears. He's doing such a good job, man. It is so impressive. Once more, double jumps right through.
Yeah, and it looks like we might actually just see the run end here soon enough for Jinju. He tried to get as many destructions here as possible with Green Puff as well, but again, I mean, we just have to mention, it's the early falls, the early bitter bear into the collision, everything that could go wrong, like you said, State. And there you go, the run has ended, and Hoodlum just continues on towards victory.
Even picking up the bitter bears right there. He's like, yeah, I know I got this thing.
Yeah, I just have to finish the run, no biggie.
Wow, what a win there for Hoodlum and for Jinju. He was able to make magic happen there in game number 1. He had an early collision, was somehow able to come back, but the fact that he had another early collision in game number 2, plus hitting the bitter bears, floating in, Hoodlum on top, Jinju on bottom. This best of 3 tied 1-1. The winner of this map is going to the grand finals in October. Everything is on the line.
All right, kicking things off with the same jump patterns here.
Attacks coming in. Actually, wow, Hoodlum not getting the first connection there. No bamboo leaves at all. That's massive.
I mean, that just about pretty much ends the run. Now, we are seeing the bamboo leaf jellies kind of spread out a lot on this one, so we might see some big misses, but so far, Jinju is looking clean.
That's a very painful lot. Oh, no, he misses another one there. Hoodlum does. That's so many points down the drain. The connections just aren't happening.
Yeah, Hoodlum's got to lock in. He's got to be able to make sure that he gets all the shurikens to make sure he collects all of the bamboo leaf jellies, dropping a couple here and there, but now he's starting to find his groove. Drops down a little far to try to make sure he collects all of them.
That was a lot of jumps. I think he might have had 1 or 2 more saved there compared to Jinju, but just spent all of them trying to close the distance. And hey, he's been a little bit consistently better at collecting the leaves. That has allowed him to close the distance between him and Jinju, but you gotta be able to clutch these hits coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped the bleeding, but Jinju once again regaining his control and keeps the lead at 8 million tops. In fact, Jinju going for the further drop there, getting just 1 or 2 extra as well. This one looks tricky. Jinju collects just a couple more again.
Yeah, Hoodlum, it seems like Jinju now is getting the better end of these trades. Okay, Hoodlum to get a couple more bamboo leaves right there compared to Jinju.
I mean, I will say, this is absolutely the toughest drops we've seen so far on this map throughout the past 2 weeks. These are the most spread out bamboo leaf jellies we've seen, and Jinju has been looking clean, continuing on with a 13 million lead.
Only about 100 jumps left for both of these players, 13 million points. I mean, it all comes back to the early stages, missing those first couple of connections, not getting any leaf opportunities here, so he's missing a few more leaves as well. Jinju just a little bit better right now in these later stages.
Yeah, both of them now going for the relay at the same exact spot. And Jinju, I think now you're starting to feel a little safe, right? You've seen how big it's been. You've been comfortable with how you've been collecting a lot of these bamboo leaf jellies. You should feel okay in the lead.
Yeah, as long as you're able to manage most of these, and catch these leaves coming down, you should be all right here as Jinju. You no longer need to play perfect. You just need to play well enough that you can maintain this buffer that you built of 18 million points.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in fact,
another one gets missed there by Hoodlum.
Yeah, Hoodlum kind of not able to just exactly line himself to maximize all of the bamboo leaf jellies, and I think unless Jinju makes a crucial blunder, that this one is in the books. I mean, Jinju could really play it safe on some of these bamboo leaf jellies, and he should still be okay as he continues to secure every single bit.
Yeah, the skill activation's just not enough there for Hurunim. And a big cheer for Jinju as he is going to be going to the World Championship Final for Cookie Run in October.
Moving on in the bracket, and we will see a best of 5 between Jungdex and Jinju.
Now he's here in the finals. He's already qualified for the World Championship. Look at,
he knows. Look at that.
He knows.
Oh my gosh. He's becoming part of the Space Donut Cookie.
It's like watching evolution in real time, man. You will become the space cookie.
Yeah, by the end, it's actually just going to be on his head.
Jungdex on top, Jinju on bottom. This is a best of 5 finals for the #1 seed in the Ocean region as we get started with the Peppercorn Cookie.
Yeah, and of course, we didn't have a time to explain it really quickly, but if you have been watching or you've been playing, of course, you know very well that this map, it's all about making sure you get every single giant bear jelly, because each time you get one, they give you more extra bonus points, 1,000 each time. It keeps on adding up. So, you know, you miss a couple early on and the gap starts to show.
Yeah, it's all about the count on those yellow bear jellies. Doesn't matter if you miss them early, if you miss them late. The fact is, if you miss them at all, you are going to be feeling the pain.
Absolutely. So far, both of them all going for all of the giant bear jellies. Couple differences on the smaller ones. Oh, that's one missed by Jinju, it looks like.
Yeah, Jinju missing one of the giant bear jellies. That can be the difference maker in this one. Oh my goodness.
He missed them too as well, and
he missed so many.
Yeah,
that was a disaster.
The fall just cost him, what is that, 5, 6?
Oh my goodness. I don't know how you come back from this one, man. That plushie has its work cut out for it.
I mean, listen, at this point though,
even the plushie is powerless.
No, is anyone worried? No, I don't know. I think he's going to find a way to come back in this best of 5. Not at this map, though. This map is looking like it's already out of the question.
Yeah, I mean, that is just absurd. Sometimes we see misses of like 1 or 2. Even these ones coming in right now on the double jump. Jinju may be a little bit flustered right now, knowing that this one is not going his way by any means. Meanwhile, Jungdex with so much speed on top, even with these double jumps at high speed, getting basically every single one. I don't even think I've seen a single miss from him just yet.
Yeah, no, I think Jungdex is just cruising through right now. Much further ahead as well on our screens as he continues on. Jinju doing whatever he can, but you can already see the point difference right now, and that'll just only add up with the energy difference as well as Jinju not able to maximize once more the giant bear jellies here.
Yeah, and as long as Jungdex can continue to defend and not take any damage, no collisions, no drops, he should be completely fine. And he's hitting these torches very well here. It's hard to thread the needle, jumping down and getting every single jelly, but indeed he's doing it.
I wonder if that earlier fall, there was something else that he was aiming for, that Jinju, because he claimed that he's got the best, you know, builds and combos on this map.
Might be intentional?
Well, not to miss anything further, but I think the intent was intentional, but the execution not so much. We'd have to wait and see. I can't imagine in what way you're able to flip this around, but unfortunately, I don't think Jinju's going to be showing us what he wanted to.
Yeah, maybe. Well, certainly not anymore.
Yeah, definitely not with that one.
Well, he did say that he has a special combi set up on this map, so maybe that is part of the build, and just the execution wasn't quite there. We're going to have to wait and see. Again, because this is the best of 5 series, we might be seeing Torchlit Trials again later on.
True. He might run it back, in fact, on this map.
Oh, that would be insane. Imagine having this run on Torchlit Trials and losing and being like, nah, let's do it one more time. That would be the most unhinged map selection of all time.
That would be a flex. Yeah, you lose with 50 million and more, maybe even up to 100 million with the energy difference, and then you say, you know what, I think I can still beat you. Let's bring it back.
That would be wild. We'll wait and see. Honestly, I would love to see it. That would just scream confidence for me coming in from Jinju.
100%. Jungdex still looking relatively quite clean as Jinju just looking to do his best, but another slip up as well. You can see him kind of shaking his head. He knows that it just keeps on happening and he's not quite sure why.
Well, you know, sometimes when something goes wrong, it just has this cascade effect where there's something that's just a waterfall of errors. I mean, that was just the butterfly effect, dude. It's the first step, and then there's an avalanche. And you got to write this map off here as Jinju. Obviously, it did not go your way. And it must be so hard to even try and have like a semblance of locking back in after that start. It's just No, this is the kind of map where here's Jinju. You're about to run out of energy. Your opponent is just going to do a victory lap in the last 15, 20 seconds.
I mean, you just have to forget about it.
Yeah, you just forget about it. Just move on.
Yeah, this is one where you don't have to worry too much about like every single mistake. You're just like, okay, well that sucked, but you know it's a best of 5. We move on. Now looking up to see what's going on here. Jungdex still continuing on, just already celebrating 130 million, 140 million. And he'll just go ahead and drop down with the rest of his energy as Jungdex takes a giant win here on Torchlit Trial.
All right, Torchlit Trials coming out once more here in set number 2 of this best of 5. Jungdex on top, Jinju on bottom, and I think we're all wondering what the plan is going to be here for Jinju after that game number 1 went so astray.
Exactly. I mean, I'm almost exclusively watching Jinju right now because regardless of who wins, I just want...
my goodness. It's the combi. It's the combi. Relax.
No, you can't. You can't possibly tell me that a collision is in the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, falls, sometimes falls are part of the plans, but collisions, that's a whole different story.
Oh, man. I'm not sure what to make of it. I mean, this is one of the hardest maps in the pool. You know, now that we're in the finals in the best of 5, these are the 5-star difficulty maps. These are the trickiest of the bunch.
Yes.
It's natural that you're going to have some collisions. The odds of Jungdex having a collision in the remaining amount of the map is also significantly high. But
true, but that's another
for
rainbow.
Jinju.
Jelly lost as well from Jinju. It feels like whatever the plan is requires like so much minute perfection that the pressure is affecting Jinju quite a bit on stage.
Yeah, it almost feels like a shame because I really do want to see what that combi is coming in here. You know, he has something very special cooked up. It's one of the reasons why he's picking this map again, but that energy already depleting. A very early collision for Jinju. He's navigating the rest of the map very well. I'm just wondering about what could have been.
Yeah, he actually did take a slightly different line there, going for the slight extra drop, but again, it's the difference in energy that we have to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, because if the combi is dropping to try and find some way to get extra distance, that could make sense, but if you're factoring the collisions, well, suddenly you're losing energy, so you're just getting less distance in general.
Yeah, it's gonna look a little bit rough. Jungdex, of course, continuing on very smooth, and while the point difference isn't massive yet, it is gonna be that energy difference. Once again, missing those bottom giant bear jellies here for Jinju. It just starts to add up.
Hey, so did Jungdex, though. They actually missed the exact same amount of yellow bears as they played it quite conservatively in that earlier stage. Okay, now Jinju -1 here in this sequence.
Yeah, and of course right now the points, it's not going to be the true difference, right? Because of that energy change, or energy difference rather, where Jungdex is going to get so much more distance.
All right, we're continuing on here. More yellow bear jellies, giant bear jellies getting collected. Of course, on this map, the points increase the more you get, so it's incremental. The boon that you join from these yellow bear jellies, and I'm wondering what Jinju could possibly do, because you can see there is some potential here, but that early collision, I just keep thinking back to it. It was devastating, Chobra.
Yeah, it has been rough, but let's keep our eyes on him, as we are going to see the relay come in for Jinju just a bit earlier. Meanwhile, Jungdex able to jump through the whole next group of giant bear jellies before going for the relay. Even goes through another use of the skill as well for the extra transformation.
3 more giant yellow bear jellies get missed there by Jinju as he's feeling the pain a little bit now. You can see that on the side of the screen, -25 million there for a moment. He is catching up a bit because they're out of sync, but he is feeling the pain right now.
Yeah, it's not looking so good as they both continue running on with the cherry cookie, but I think this may have been yet another mistake from Jinju, costing him what might be the first seed in the Ocean Region preliminaries.
Yeah, I would be speechless if he was able to bring this one back without Jungdex just collapsing here in the final portions of Torchlit Trials.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the very least, I do want, regardless of who actually wins the finals, we need the interviewer to ask the question about what really was the plan here on Torchlit Trial, because he's got us all curious.
Yeah, he kept talking about how his combi is special, how he has something cooked up, prepared for us, and he's ready to serve, and then it just doesn't happen. And maybe he doesn't even get the opportunity to try and make it happen because of that early collision, right? It might require a lot of setup. You might need to have perfect play up until a certain point. We can only just ponder what it would be, but as it is right now, entering the twilight here of set number 2, it looks like Jungdex is likely going to be going to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and Jinju slowly draining out that energy. Jungdex looking calm and collected with a hefty lead. Knows that he should pretty much all but be done. As Jinju, another collision at the end as well as he drops. And that's the end of the run. As Jungdex secures his win with another 40 million points ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jungdex just, cocking his head a little bit, you know, like, okay, all right.
So the last map is loading in. Jungdex on top, Jinju on bottom. It is sprinkled ice cream land. And let's go, dude, already with these short jumps on the edge of my seat. The timing has to be perfect to navigate this well.
Yeah, let's see how this goes through. Jinju just slightly behind right now.
Timing absolutely pivotal right now. Okay, Jungdex able to go through that. So does Jinju. No collisions just yet. That's one of the most dangerous parts of this entire map.
Absolutely. Going for the Bear Jelly Party as well. Securing that, but not making the collision. So both of them still able to maximize their points.
Yeah, very tricky. Quite close. Jungdex just with a slight lead right now. Okay, first column drop comes in. Both players able to get every single jelly. And then the second column also. Can we do it again on the third? Have they both been perfect?
Yeah, Jinju goes for that. He missed a couple on the first jump, so he falls a little bit far behind. Again, 55,000 extra points for every single jelly. So it really doesn't matter at which point, what type it is. You miss any of them, it starts to make a big difference.
Yeah, this one is really all about numbers over everything else.
Yeah, let's see. Jungdex just looking calm and collected as he continues into the next area. So does Jinju.
Yeah, I got to time the short jumps as well, dodging those snowballs and collecting all the jellies on top. It can be very tricky, but both players able to do this quite impressively. Hey, only 1 million point difference, or sub 1 million, I should say, is very close for this map.
Yeah, exactly. Any other map, we'd be like, okay, 1 million, one person might have a decent-sized lead, but here, 500,000, I mean, this is just one jump difference, but Jungdex continue to be clean on all of these drops.
Yeah, the drop columns are so crucial right now, because if you miss one of these lines, that might be lights out for your entire finals here if you're Jinju, but he's been able to slowly chip away at this lead that Jungdex has accumulated.
Yeah, it looked like Jinju had a slight better timing there for the candy corn skill usage.
Ooh, actually a lot more distance there on Jinju, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder if Jungdex took an obstacle that I did not see, or perhaps missed some energy. In any case, that is very promising here for Jinju.
Yeah, it's Jinju now currently the one trying to mount a comeback. He needs this map win to try to stay alive. Jungdex on the top screen, continuing on. Avoiding everything, stays alive with those jumps.
And now he has a wide gap to try and close right now.
Yeah, a little bit ahead on our screens as well. Let's see if Jungdex is able to try to get all the jellies he can get.
Yeah, big drop down right now. These short jumps have to be timed out very well. One jelly does get missed there for Jinju. Not the end of the world. Another one does get missed. So Jungdex closing distance just a little bit here.
Yeah, Jinju opting to skip out on some of the bigger jellies to make sure he's securing all the numbers as well. Ooh, weaves in the extra potion as well here for Jinju.
Oh man, Jungdex just dropped. Oh, that's brutal there for Jungdex. Missed a ton of jellies as a result. Jinju, if he can continue to defend, this might be the start of a comeback.
I mean, listen, if he can... Oh, but that's a collision for Jinju as well. Now, he's still able to get the jellies afterwards. It's the energy that now kind of evens out.
Yeah, I think he might still have this. He might have enough of a lead, especially with the distance, that collision is going to matter. But boy, did he make it even harder on himself.
Jungdex knows he wasn't able to continue on with the jumps. He wasn't able to stay afloat. And that is going to give the win to Jinju as he starts to try for a comeback.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you can see a big sigh of relief on Jinju's face. All right, we run it back one more time here on Sprinkled Ice Cream Land. If Jungdex win, he is up 3-0 in the series. If Jinju loses, it is all over.
Now going with these short jumps, a couple extra jellies being missed out by Jungdex here early on.
Yeah, and it's hard to change your jump timing when you're missing those jellies because you really don't want to mess with what's working already, right? Adjusting the timing mid-sequence, you might be hitting one of these obstacles, and you do not want to run out of energy early on in this map.
Yep, both of them secure that Bear Jelly Party, so that's all the extra points you can get on that section. And the first drop, couple missed from Jinju. This might be an opportunity for Jungdex to try to catch up.
And not the end of the world there. Those are very tight columns, so if you're going to connect with most of them, you're probably going to get basically all of them, even on those misses. It was, what, 2 or 3 down the drain? And Jinju now navigating the rest of them very easily. We have a couple more drops are coming through. Yeah, both players collecting absolutely everything.
Oh boy, it's getting tense. Another series of big jumps here, weaving in and out of the ice cream cones.
Yeah, very tricky, especially with those frosted trees. You got to watch out. Now we're heading into the second stage of this level.
Yeah, and the points still in favor of Jinju, but okay, first in this section with the snowballs, we got to watch out for those collisions.
Yeah, Jungdex had a little bit of trouble, I think, around this time on the previous map. Now, it seems like he has the confidence that he's able to fix it coming in, as this is a very dangerous drop between those snowballs. Both players able to do it.
Yeah, but misses out on, I think, 1 or 2 extra from Jungdex compared to Jinju. So, once again, the lead still in favor, but you see it. It's below 500,000 on this map. It could be anybody's game.
I mean, you get so many bonus points just for the basic jellies that this kind of lead, it's basically a wash. This is deadlocked, completely even between these two. One mistake could be game-ending for either of them. In fact, I would say that it probably is. In terms of distance,
Jungdex knows that he messed up because he was trying to, I believe, maybe go for a little bit extra distance, but he missed out on the entire top row of jellies.
Yeah, I think he might have thought he could get a little bit more potentially with a drop off that ledge, but just didn't have the distance to make it. So the risk-reward really not going his way.
I mean, at this point, you're kind of hoping that Jinju makes a mistake, right? An entire row of jellies.
Oh, no. Collision for Jungdex right there.
No.
Dude, the comeback magic is real here for Jinju.
He's locked in. Look at his camera. He's not looking anywhere else. He's not moving at all. He is just jumping and sliding and running here on Sprinkled Ice Cream Land.
Yeah, it's perfect. A lot of small jumps and double jumps here coming in. And where Jinju slides right down, gets every single one of these jellies. And I don't think he knows yet that there's a collision on Jungdex's side, but all he has to do is defend.
Yeah, he just has to play it safe. Still going to go for not only the Bear Jelly Party, but also, of course, the potion. Both of them securing that safely.
It's really well navigated on both sides, but for Jungdex, that is bad news. You want Jinju to make a mistake here. Otherwise, you really don't have much of a chance at a comeback.
Oh
man, that's it. Doubling down.
The potion. I mean, he had to be the one that gets the potion. Jinju had to be the one that gets the collision. But as they both go for it, Jinju secures it safely. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jinju might be taking us to another comeback.
We are going to one future of TBD for a map number 5. Jinju doing a victory lap right now. He knows he has this one in the bag. He knows that Jungdex is out of energy. 50 million point lead. Jinju looks pumped. Oh man, he is ready to go.
This is insane. This is insane. How does he do it? How does he keep bringing it back? Jungdex on the top, Jinju on the bottom. One map to determine it all. And here we go.
Get ready to fly with unlimited jumps right now on both sides.
Getting those simple ones in the beginning here for the Giant Bear Jellies. Of course, the big bonuses coming in with the Giant Bear Jellies this time around.
Yeah, 200K plus 600,000 for the Rainbow Giant Bear Jellies. So there's a lot of potential here for point gathering.
Yeah, I mean, especially those Rainbow Bear Jellies, right? The giant ones, you missed out on that. That's only just swings an entire run.
Yeah, man, on these small jumps, it feels like Jinju's just getting a little bit of a better trade. Jungdex, it feels like, is missing a little bit more of the small guys. Now, of course, these Giant Bear Jellies are just the end-all, be-all on this map, but Jungdex misses one.
Oh, that's a big one. Oh, my. Jungdex knows he has to try to play catch-up here.
Man, the plushie power might be real. This is pretty wild what we're seeing right now, Chobra. All right, Jungdex, can he lock in right now? He already missed that one Giant Bear. You do not want to miss another. It's still relatively close.
Exactly. I mean, considering what just happened, sure, but Jinju's not looking to make any mistakes as he continues on with several million in the bank ahead of Jungdex.
Both players getting instruction points right now as we're going through, able to catch all these Giant Bear Jellies. Not the most difficult section on this map thus far, so both players able to navigate it quite flawlessly. Oh,
yeah, okay. Neither of them going perfectly for the Bear Jelly Party, but you know, it equals out right now. And again, all eyes on the giant ones as Jinju continues to collect them all. So does Jungdex here in this section.
Yeah, this section's getting a little bit more challenging. You want to make sure that you can avoid these obstacles when they get in front of you.
Okay, that's one extra giant bear jelly here missed from Jinju, giving an opportunity for Jungnex, but he still is so healthily ahead right now.
Actually, a couple more skill activations were available there for Jungnex for a moment.
Yeah, of course, we weren't really paying too much attention to that, but the destruction's going to matter a little bit as well.
Right, still a very close game. 3 million points is not a safe lead by any margin. Okay, that was a big drop and then up column there for both sides. Jinju missing a giant bear as well.
Yeah, and the bear jelly party. So this starts to close the gap quite a bit. It's back down to 300,000 as we go to the next area.
Yeah, this is wild. It is so close, man. What a close series going all the way to game number 5. And then here in the 5th map, the lead halfway through. One future of TBD is peanuts.
Jungnex trying to stay focused, trying not to get too shaken. Jinju also trying to make sure he keeps the lead, but he knows that Jungnex is following right along, but that's more giant rainbow bear jellies missed from Jungnex. You see him smile and shake his head. He knows that that might have been the end.
Yeah, that's a critical mistake right there for Jungnex. Energy now running out. They're dropping at basically the exact same time, so distance equivalent here for the both of them.
Oh boy, Jinju, he doesn't want to celebrate too early. He has to stay calm. A collision can still flip everything on this final run of the night between Jungnex and Jinju.
Yeah, chess pieces now coming out. Those destruction points to be able to rack up later on here. Maybe that will be Jungnex's angle to try and close the gap. As it is right now, he cannot afford to miss any more of these giant bears. And okay, Jinju missing one of them.
Yeah, okay. Gives a fighting chance for
another one gets missed
from Jungnex as well. And a collision, it starts to fall apart.
Oh, that might be the end, man. For Jungnex, there's a little bit more left to play, but this is so painful. Missing the giant bear, missing the rainbow bear, having a collision. The energy is now depleted, and Jinju is looking so locked in.
Yeah,
we were talking about the odds of a reverse sweep coming in after he dropped the first 2 maps, going down 0-2 in a best of 5. It is unheard of to come back with 3 wins in a row. It rarely happens. He might be doing it.
Yeah, going for the destruction from below as well here for Jinju, continuing to maximize all the points he can get. Jungnex will do his best, but he's out. He's going to go for the last transformation here to try to move on forward and get the points that he can, and he does! Does he get it? Do we see the final transformation come in for Jinju?
Oh,
he's gonna continue on. There it is. Yeah, Jungnex thought maybe the activation wouldn't come through, but Jinju will be the one celebrating with a massive win, a reverse sweep. The power of the Space Donut carries on here in the Ocean region.
Well, today, I cannot wait to hear the interview, what the lines were on Torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Trials, because for Jinju, it kept blowing back up on him, but in the end, he persevered. He is going to be your victor today.